Welcome to European Railway issue number 57, the DVD magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this programme, we travel to France to witness traffic on the main line east of Lyon. A look at Polish passenger train workings on the route north of the Silesian city of Katowice. A journey is made to Switzerland as we take an extended look at two mainline railways. The first is the BLS line south of Spiez, and the second is the old main line between Bern and Olten, to where it meets the new high-speed line just west of Langenthal. We take a trip to Belgium and rush hour action on the line south of Arlon. Our Lineside interlude takes us to the Netherlands, where we look at activity on the line north of Maastricht. And finally we travel to Germany, to two locations, the first to view trains on the Stuttgart to Singen route south of Tuttlingen, and the second to Bavaria for diesel action around Immenstadt. We begin the programme with a journey to France as we seek out locomotive-hauled services to the east of Lyon. We chose three locations on the line towards Grenoble, before the single-track route to Chambéry diverges just south of Saint-André-le-Gaz. Our filming took place early in the morning of Thursday the 27th of June 2013, close to the town of Saint-Bonnet-du-Mur, at the close station at Eyrieux. Heading towards the camera at 0652 hours is unit number 348 with the 0612 from Saint-André-le-Gaz to Lyon. In the opposite direction comes the 0635 Lyon to Modane, powered at the rear by BB 22398. 10 minutes later, and it is the turn of BB 22363 to power the 0644 from Lyon to Grenoble. All locomotive-hauled passenger services are in the hands of Chambéry-based BB 22200 electrics. This one, number 22257, is certainly not hanging about as it heads towards Lyon. As this is the rush hour period, trains can be seen every few minutes. Just 4 minutes behind the previous train is 22360. TGVs also use this stretch of track before joining the nearby high-speed line. This is the 0703 from Lyon to Marseille, formed by unit number 260. BB22391 brings up the rear of the 0714 Lyon to Grenoble service. Between 6:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning, you could in theory photograph 13 trains operated by this class of locomotive. TGV set number 731 passes the camera forming the 0614 from Marseille. BB22257 returns past the grain silos with the 0732 from Lyon to Chambéry. A few minutes later, and 22360 is also seen again, and passes 27050 on a westbound freight service. The Chambéry-based BB2200s work all over the Alpine region east of Lyon, reaching Modane, Bourg-Saint-Maurice, Annecy, Grenoble and Genève, as well as to Dijon in the north and Avignon in the south. The 0644 from Marseille is formed of a pair of TGV sets numbers 276 and number 706. This is 22350 with the 0701 from Chambéry. We now move to our second location, as this TGV is seen working the 0642 Genève to Marseille. Watch out for the small deer sticking its head up out of the field of wheat as the train disappears into the distance. BB22213 is in charge of the 0747 from Grenoble to Lyon, after which it will work the 0934 from Lyon to Chambéry. Rounding the curve is the 0835 Lyon to Chambéry service with BB22395 on the rear. A year after these trains were filmed, the class is still hard at work in the area, with no signs of replacement for the foreseeable future. Our third location is east of Bourgoin-Jallieu, as BB22269 brings up the rear of the 0914 Lyon to Grenoble at exactly 12 minutes to 10. Chambéry Depot has 29 of these locos on their books for working the 25 diagrams required each day. Multi-voltage TGV set number 4501 forms the 0749 from Paris to Milano. Finally, a Z24500 electric unit is seen heading west with a local service from Saint-André-le-Gaz to Lyon. This is a good line to witness locomotive operated services in action, particularly in the morning and evening rush hours. Our second section comes from Poland and continues with the passenger train theme, as we call in at the main Katowice to Warszawa line just to the north of Zawiercie. This route sees regular intercity and local services operating to destinations in the north and south of the country. Brand new EN76 unit number 008, delivered in autumn 2011, is operated by the regional passenger company Kolei Śląskie, which had then recently taken over some of the local services between Katowice and Częstochowa. Track relaying was being undertaken just north of our filming location. This track machine moves into position, ready for some ballast tamping. The two outer tracks are the dedicated high-speed passenger line to Warszawa. Heading towards the camera is EP09 locomotive number 018, hauling train EC105, the 1213 from Warszawa to Vienna in Austria. The locomotive is sporting the Netherlands football team colours in connection with the Euro 2012 finals. EU07 146 heads north with the 1257 Katowice to Olsztyn Główny. ET22 1094 is allocated to PKP Cargo. It is seen here heading north in charge of the 1030 Wrocław to Lublin service. ET22 can be found working passenger trains quite often and have a number of booked diagrams. Note the carriage door still open on the rear of the second coach. Modernised EN57 electric unit number 120-810 heads south with a classmate in charge of the 1355 from Częstochowa to Katowice. When the new local passenger train operator, Kolei Śląskie, was set up, local government finance was forthcoming to pay for 9 of these new units in an attempt to boost the image of local rail services in the Upper Silesia area. Finally, in the opposite direction, the first of the class, unit number 1, heads south. These units, capable of 100 miles per hour, are part of a slow but steady investment in new rolling stock seen across the country. We now travel to Switzerland, where we have 2 extended features covering main lines in the central part of the country. Our first section focuses on a route in the south, just below Spiez on the BLS line to Brieg, and the second in the north, on the SBB main line around Langenthal. The first of these features takes us to the classic BLS Lützburg main line, just south of Spiez, where we look down onto the route from 2 locations to the north and south of Reichenbach im Kandertal. Heading north towards the camera are a pair of BLS Class 535 electric units, forming the 1736 from Brieg to Bern and about to call at Müllenen station, which is the interchange point for the Eisenbahn meter gauge rack railway. Our location is a few hundred metres up the hillside adjacent to the road linking Müllenen with the village of Niederdorf. Heading south is train IC832, the 1541 from Romanshorn to Brieg. The power is provided by an unidentified Class 460 locomotive sandwiched in the train. The Eisenbahn operates these single rail cars for the 30-minute journey from Müllenen to the summit at Niesenköln, a height difference of around 1644 metres. The last service train up the mountain departs at 19:30 hours, whilst the last train departs the summit at 5 to 11 in the evening. An SBB Class RE44 locomotive powers this northbound container train. This rolling motorway freight service has 485003 as the leading loco. Four minutes later, and 485019 and 486509 head north with this container train. This is 843503, one of three such locos used for rescue and maintenance trains in the Lutschberg tunnel. A few kilometres to the south and we have driven high above the village of Reichenbach im Kandertal, as we look down on a splendid example of heritage traction. Heading south for Frutigen to take part in the BLS centenary celebrations is former Regionalwerke Mittelland EMU class RBDE44. It is seen hauling partly restored Blue Arrow Heritage EMU type BCFE46, number 736. Crossrail also make an appearance along this route. Here a Class 436 and Class 185 combination head south at just after 8 p.m. The sun by now had disappeared behind the mountains, leaving the valley floors in shade. Arriving with a stopping service for Brieg is this pair of Class 535s. Finally, a pair of BLS Brownies, or Class 425s as they are commonly known these days, head a mixed freight north at exactly 8:30. We up the tempo a bit now as we travel to the Langenthal area to study the old classic main line from Bern to Olten and onwards to Zurich. This is a busy line, especially west of Langenthal, where the new high-speed line runs parallel with the old route. Our filming took place on the morning of the 6th of June 2014, as we see the 0557 from Zurich to Bern heading south towards the camera with locomotive number 46052 on the rear. This is a northbound working with 460.025 in charge. The train is the 0639 from Bern to Zurich. Two Crossrail Class 436 electrics, number 114 and 115, approach the camera with this southbound LKV Walter logistics service, bound for Italy. The town of Herzogenbuchsee can be seen in the distance. The time is 13 minutes past 7. DB also run over these tracks. This is 185, 107 and 105, with empty clay wagons from Reggio Emilia in Italy to Limburg in Germany. The 0706 from Zurich heads south with 460.056 providing the power, whilst BLS Class 425s, numbers 172 and 186, head north. Six minutes later, and it is the turn of locomotives 177 and 188. It's quite busy this time of day, with a whole string of freight trains being seen. Heading north we see BLS locos numbers 179 and 171. We just about managed to film 187002, which was on a test run. Some of the interregional trains that passed by had older traction in charge, such as 11303, seen here heading north from Bern. We now move to the west of Langenthal, on the busy 4-track stretch of line. Heading south we see 460-004, with the 0759 from Basel to Interlaken. Just 2 minutes later, and 460-010 heads along the high-speed tracks with the 0638 Romanshorn to Brig, whilst BLS's 485006 heads along the old line tracks with a southbound lorry train. Trains tend to operate in flights of 3 in each direction every 30 minutes. Here the 0636 from Genève Airport to St Gallen crosses 460-016, seen approaching the camera with the 0800 Luzern to Genève. No less than 3 Class 420s had this eastbound empty stock working. This is the 0906 from Alton to Bern, powered at the rear by 460-056. This line sees non-stop action with trains every few minutes, and as can be seen, it is a good place to see Class 460 locomotives. This is RE66 locomotive number 11648, heading for the yard at Langenthal. Heading towards the camera is 460-020 on the 0907 from Bern to Alton interregional service. Two types of high-speed train set are seen here, one German designed, one French. The ICE is working the 0538 Frankfurt to Interlaken, whilst the TGV is forming the 0910 Bern to Paris. This is 460-100. (460-070) shows off its pace with the 0745 Genève to St. Gallen. We are now a step closer to Langenthal, at a location just east of Thunstetter Tunnel, as 460-064 and two Class 500 train sets both head east. The intensity of freight traffic that we saw earlier on in the day was much reduced as the morning went on. After a gap of nearly 2 hours, it was 485012 that led this formation as it headed west from Langenthal with the freight for the BLS route via Spiez. The town's yard was being shunted by this Class 841. (486,506) and 485,004 head this trainload of lorries out of Tunstetter Tunnel. The time is just after 10:30. Although the high-speed line is used solely by passenger trains during the waking day, at night the line is used by quite a few freight trains. This usually happens between 10 o'clock at night and 5:30 in the morning. This is 460-009. (460-056) is passed by 460-079. Class 923 shunting tractors are also used on local trip duties. Here 923-016 passes the camera, hauling a rake of hopper wagons. Class 420 number 11303 returns from Zurich with train IR2018 for Bern. This is an interesting formation, powered by endangered Class 540 electric motor coach number 540034. A few more freight services were now beginning to appear. This one made 4, seen in 35 minutes. This is the west end of Langenthal station, as 11370 passes by light engine. Unit number 511111 followed a short time later on a driver training run. (460-104) slows for the station stop, with the 1107 service from Bern to Olten. Following along behind is a slightly delayed BLS local train coming off the Utteville branch, with a 10:16 from Luzern. Unit number 525037 is in all-over advertising livery. (923.016) is seen once more, with the Orange Army on board. Number 11648 arrives with train number 64877, the 1109 service from Mensnau to Langenthal. Running some 15 minutes early, 620.051 also arrives off the Utteville line with train 64873, the 1143 from Getnau. (11190) runs into the station at just after midday. In America, this would be referred to as a bear train, a set of flat or well wagons with no load. BLS's 485017 heads east. Six minutes later and 460052 enters the station, hauling the 1139 from Bern to Zurich. On average, you can expect to see a train here every 5 minutes, with considerably more during the busy morning and evening periods. 460104 is on the rear of the 1206 service from Olten. During the off-peak, a number of inter-regional trains between Bern and Zurich terminate at Olten when passenger demand is much less. Olten is a busy interchange station, with frequent services onwards towards Zurich. Superpower is provided for this westbound Ambroso logistics train in the form of BLS 465s number 013 and 011. In the opposite direction, a trainload of LKV Valter lorry trailers is hauled by 186904 and 907. The new kids on the block are these impressive-looking Class 511 units, known as Dosto RVs and built by Stadler. There are 6-car and 4-car varieties on offer. This one calls with the 1157 Zurich to Bern. Finally, we finish off our extended look at Swiss railways with locomotive number 11613, which is about to depart with train number 64880, the 1409 departure for the paper mills at Mensnau. A complete change of emphasis now as we travel to Belgium for some early morning commuter train action. The town of Arlon lies on the main line linking Belgium with Luxembourg, as well as being not far from the junction with the single track line down to Atout, close to the French border. The route is dominated by electric and diesel units built between the past 15 to 20 years. Heading south are AM96 units, numbers 517 and 510, part of a batch of 24 units equipped to operate into Luxembourg. In the opposite direction are unit numbers 509 and 506, forming the 0735 from Luxembourg City to Arlon. Loco-Hauled services are few and far between, and generally involve Belgium Class 13 or Luxembourg's equivalent, the Class 3000. Here number 3012 heads south with the 0803 from Arlon. Coming off the single track line from Atout is diesel unit number 4187, forming the 0627 from Gedin to Arlon. Someone was upsetting the neighbours. All seemed well eventually. Unit number 506 hurries by, forming the 0830 Arlon to Luxembourg. Finally, we see unit number 509, heading south, forming the 0859 from Arlon to Luxembourg. A line that is rarely filmed is the route between Roermond and Maastricht in the southeastern corner of the Netherlands. Our Lineside interlude takes a quick look at just some of the everyday trains to be seen on the line, as we call in at a location just north of Geleen. Local trains run half-hourly in each direction and are formed of electric multiple units. Approaching the camera is Plan Y3 Sprinter number 2966 with the 1002 from Maastricht to Roermond. IRM unit number 8635 heads south with the 0808 service from Amsterdam. This is one of the half-hourly intercity trains that also use this line. Most, if not all, are formed of these IRM units, some 6-car and some 4-car. Four-car IRM Class 9400 unit number 9413 heads north, forming the 1058 from Maastricht to Amsterdam. Freight traffic is very light on this route, with just a handful of daily workings. A nearby chemical works is responsible for this train, number 61802, Loco-Hauled to Katowice, powered by Class 6400 diesel, number 6412. The train is seen leaving at 22 minutes past 11. Finally, we see another IRM unit heading south with a train from Amsterdam to Maastricht. We now move to Germany, and the first of two features looking at lines in the extreme south of the country. The first is on the main line south of Tuttlingen and on towards Singen, close to the Swiss border and the River Rhine. We begin on a cold winter's day at Tuttlingen to witness one of the highlights over recent years of a Class 115 electric hauling one of the intercity trains between Singen and Stuttgart on a Saturday. Arriving with the 0809 service from Singen to Stuttgart is 115278. Moving south now, and we are in the Hotzenwald Hills, where the line climbs to the summit at Hattingen, nearly 700 metres above sea level. We are near to the closed station at Thalmühle on the southern ramp, as 146110 heads the 1238 from Konstanz to Karlsruhe. The date is Monday the 2nd of June 2014. The 2-hourly intercity trains are now mainly in the hands of Class 101 electrics. This is 101, 102. Freight traffic uses this line to access northern Switzerland, but services are infrequent, with maybe one train each hour at best during the day. Heading south at just after 1 o'clock is 185297. Local trains operate on an hourly basis to and from Karlsruhe via Offenburg. 146113 powers the 1109 from Karlsruhe. "15 minutes later and 101093 heads south with train IC 185 from Stuttgart to Zurich. The sun had finally come out as this track maintenance vehicle and trailer head north. We now move south to a point close to Welschingen-Neuhausen station, as 101068 heads north with the 1305 Zurich to Stuttgart. This is 146219. Swiss Railways operate local trains up to Engen using Class 521 electric units. This is 521219 on the 1352 from Konstanz. Heading south is 146109. This is Mühlhausen, as 521207 slows with the 1422 from Konstanz. These trains run half-hourly in each direction. This is the scene just north of the town, as 146232 passes with the 1309 service from Karlsruhe. A Class 181 is diagrammed to haul one of the Stuttgart to Singen and return into city workings. The train in question is the 1353 from Stuttgart. The loco returns from Singen on the 1809 service back to Stuttgart. On this occasion it is 181215. We actually move out of area ever so slightly now and to Rottweil, where we see 181219 arriving with the 0953 service from Stuttgart. The train will take us to Singen, our next station stop. A locomotive change takes place at Singen, where an SBB RE44 loco is the usual motive power for the final leg to Zurich. Class 115s continued to operate on certain trains to Singen up to the start of the winter timetable in December 2013. Here 115198 prepares to haul the 1010 departure for Stuttgart. Finally, we pop back to Rottweil as we witness the train's northbound departure. Our next section comes from Immenstadt, on the non-electrified line from München to Lindau. We begin on the platforms at Immenstadt on the 27th of March 2013, as this Class 612 unit departs for Lindau with the 1717 from Ulm. In the opposite direction, Alex train 84155, the 1758 from Lindau to München, arrives behind 223071, a regular performer on this line. Waiting for the right of way is hard-in Class 2143 diesel number 018 with the 1824 from Oberstdorf, which it will attach to the rear of the train from Lindau. the 29th of March 2013, number 218481 has arrived with the 1454 from Stuttgart to Oberstdorf. The train runs around here with one loco only continuing down the branch to Oberstdorf. We now move to a rather more snowy 18th of April 2014, and the same train is seen, except the locos involved this time are 218, 343 and 464. It's the turn of number 343 to work the train down to Oberstdorf. The date is Sunday the 30th of June 2013, and we see ex-Austrian Class 2143, number 018 once more, as it prepares to work down the branch to Oberstdorf. Throughout 2012 and 2013, the private passenger operator Alex has hired in Class 2143s to work its trains down the branch. A Class 612 diesel unit arrives from Oberstdorf. (223.071) is seen once again with the 1758 from Lindau. Just west of the town, on the northern shores of the Alpensee, we see another view of the 1758 service from Lindau. Finally, 218, 405 and 445 head train EC192, the 1633 from München to Zurich. As the train disappears from view, we hope that you have enjoyed watching this edition of European Railway.